welcome to this explainer. What if I told you that you could add a highly respected legal credential to your resume, one that actually lets you earn up to $25 just for witnessing a signature? Well, today we're opening up the playbook on exactly how to become a commissioned notary public in Rhode Island, step by step. Okay, let's dive into this. Because, look, beyond being a really vital public service, becoming a notary offers some absolutely fantastic professional opportunities. If you're looking to start a mobile notary side hustle, this credential, it's your golden ticket. It's also just an incredible way to make yourself indispensable at your current office. Think about typical scenarios: facilitating major transactions for local banks, handling real estate closings, or executing legal affidavits for law firms. It's a real game changer. To get you there, we've broken this explainer down into 5 clear, logical steps. We'll start with the role itself and who's actually eligible, then walk through the official application process. From there, we'll cover securing your supplies, the rules for remote online notarization, and finally, how to maintain your practice over the long haul. I promise, this bureaucratic process is highly manageable when you break it down like this. All right, step 1, role and eligibility requirements. Let's establish the foundation. So fundamentally, a notary public is a commissioned state officer. Your main job? Serving as an impartial witness to prevent fraud. You'll be performing acts like acknowledgments on property deeds, executing jurats on legal affidavits, administering oaths, the whole shebang. This role is absolutely vital to Rhode Island's real estate and banking sectors. It literally keeps commerce moving securely. But here's the best part, and it's super important to understand. You do not need to be a lawyer to do this. You aren't giving legal advice. You're just verifying identities and making sure people are signing documents willingly. And for this critical community service, the state authorizes you to charge a maximum fee of $25 per notarial act. So the crucial point here is that you have to meet the state's strict baseline eligibility rules before you even think about applying. It's non-negotiable. You got to be at least 18 years old, a U.S. citizen or a permanent legal resident, and you need to be able to read and write English. You also have to pass a background check. Basically, they want to ensure you have no disqualifying criminal convictions involving fraud or dishonesty. And look closely at that third point. You must either be a Rhode Island resident or have a regular place of employment or practice right there within the state. Now, there is a very specific exemption to that residency rule. Rhode Island attorneys and certified public accountants, CPAs, who are in good standing with their respective state boards, they are legally exempt from the residency requirement. This is incredibly practical for cross-border professionals. You know, folks who might live over in neighboring Massachusetts or Connecticut, but handle transactions and practice their profession within Rhode Island. Moving right along to step 2, the official application process. Let's talk about actually securing your commission. Listen, before you submit a single piece of paperwork, you've got to prove you know the laws. Rhode Island requires you to pass their online notary knowledge assessment with a massive score of at least 80%. But hey, the good news? It's an open book test based entirely on the Rhode Island Notary Public Manual. So just study up on your definitions and rules, keep that manual handy on your desk, and you will be totally prepared to crush that 80% mark. Let's see how this builds into the exact 4-step chronological progression for the official application. First, you pass that assessment we just talked about. Second, you download and fill out the 2-page application form. Third, and I kind of love this, it's a fun rite of passage, you actually have to physically take your completed application to an already active Rhode Island notary public to take your official oath of office. They will notarize your application for you. Finally, step 4, you submit that notarized application along with the $80 state fee. Oh, and a quick pro tip. Once you submit it, make sure you actively monitor your email for the state's official approval notification. That way, you'll know the exact moment your commission goes active. When it comes time to submit, here is a real-life pitfall you definitely want to avoid. Do not email or fax your application. No way. The Rhode Island Department of State Business Services Division strictly requires the original, physically signed document with wet ink signatures. You either have to mail it or physically hand-deliver it to their office in Providence. But the great news is that once they actually have it in their hands, they're incredibly efficient. Processing typically only takes about 3 to 5 business days, which is pretty fast. All right, on to step 3, securing your notary supplies. Time to acquire the tools of the trade. This brilliantly illustrates the difference between what the state strictly mandates and what is, just smart business practice. Because Rhode Island doesn't issue these tools directly to you. Legally, the only tool you absolutely must buy is an official inked rubber stamp. That's it. However, the state highly recommends you also pick up a permanently bound pre-numbered notary journal to record all your acts, as well as errors and omissions, or E&O insurance. That insurance is basically just there to protect you financially in case you make an honest, unintentional mistake. Since the stamp is mandatory, let's look at its exact anatomy. Your compliant Rhode Island stamp has to be either circular or rectangular, and it must have a continuous edge border. It needs to contain your name exactly, and I mean exactly, as it appears on your official commission certificate, plus the words Notary Public and Rhode Island. Interestingly enough, your actual commission expiration date isn't legally required to be printed right on the stamp itself, but you are required to write it manually on every single certificate you notarize. Now, what's really interesting here is the cost breakdown. Becoming a notary is a highly affordable investment with a fantastic ROI. You've got your $80 state application fee, maybe $15 to $30 for your mandatory stamp, and around $10 to $50 if you grab that highly recommended journal. Notice that bottom line, though. Rhode Island does not require a surety bond. A lot of states force you to buy one, but Rhode Island's lack of a bond requirement keeps your startup costs remarkably low. Moving right into step 4. Remote online notarization rules. Let's talk about expanding into the digital realm. So, remote online notarization, or RON, allows you to notarize documents over a secure video call. But you can't just jump right in. There's a very specific registration sequence you got to follow to upgrade. First, you must already hold your active traditional commission. Second, you choose a state-approved tech platform. Third, you buy a digital version of your stamp and signature. Fourth, you submit a free Notary Public information update form to the state. And finally, you just wait for a formal email confirmation from the Department of State before you try to perform your very first remote act. Choosing that technology platform is absolutely critical. While RON is completely legal, using standard consumer video apps like FaceTime, Zoom, or Skype, strictly prohibited, no way around it. These simply don't have the required security and identity-proofing features. You have to use a specialized, compliant vendor that's been approved by Rhode Island. Some of the top approved platforms right now include DocVerify, Blue Notary, Signex, OneNotary, and Pavaso. And finally, step 5, maintaining your notary practice. Here are the rules for the long haul. The magic number to remember here is 4. A Rhode Island notary commission lasts for exactly 4 years. When those 4 years are up, you don't have to start totally from scratch, but you do have to go through the renewal process. And that process essentially mirrors your initial application, including paying that exact same $80 state fee again. Throughout those 4 years, you absolutely must stick to the state's fee schedule. Now, to maximize that $25 per signature we talked about earlier, you can market your mobile services to local real estate agents, assisted living facilities, and law firms. Just remember, this $25 maximum limit is set by state law, and it applies whether you're driving to a client's house with your physical stamp or sitting at your computer doing a remote online notarization. Always disclose your fees upfront to your clients before beginning the ceremony. Now, here's a surprisingly generous bureaucratic quirk to keep in your back pocket as you reach the end of your 4-year term. Rhode Island actually offers a 30-day grace period. You can legally continue to notarize documents for up to 30 days after your commission expires. That's a fantastic safety net if your renewal paperwork happens to get delayed for some reason. Just make absolutely sure you accurately note your actual past expiration date on the notarial certificate. And that brings us to the end of our journey. Let me leave you with this thought. The Rhode Island Notary Commission is a 4-year commitment to preventing fraud and serving your community. Are you ready to take the oath? Because whether you're looking to boost your income at $25 a signature, or you just want to step up as a trusted official in your community, the path is clear, it's structured, and it is entirely achievable. So why not take action today? Before we go, just a quick professional reminder. This explainer is for informational purposes only. Laws and fees can and do change, so please always consult the official Rhode Island Department of State resources or legal professionals for the most specific, up-to-date guidance on your notary journey. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the Ocean State's notary process. Keep learning, keep growing, and go get that commission.